In this video, I'm going to teach you my 4-step process to generate more leads and sales for your business online by using content marketing. In fact, I use this exact same process to grow my website's organic traffic by nearly 4,000% in just 6 months. My name is Jacob, and I'm the owner of 2Winer SEO, the done-for-you content marketing agency. And today, I'm going to show you the 4 most important things that you really need to know if you want to turn cold traffic into repeat customers. Alright guys, Content Marketing 101, I'm going to be showing you my 4-step process to drive a lot more traffic to your website. And like I said before, I've used this strategy to increase my website's traffic by nearly 4,000%, and now I use this exact same process with my clients. Why should you listen to me in the first place? This is a screenshot of my Google Analytics from my very first website that I created a long time ago, several years ago. And as you can see from this graph, I increased my traffic from nothing in the middle of July to 40,000 total sessions by the end of the year. So in 6 months, that's around a 3,700% increase in organic traffic. So what's the bottom line here? Content marketing works. This is my content marketing formula that we use at 2Winer SEO to drive tremendous results for our clients. It goes like this: plan, create, optimize, and promote. Pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but there's a lot to unpack here, so let's keep going. By the way, before we go any farther, if you are interested in growing your traffic like I did and you have any questions about how you can do that with your digital marketing, with your content marketing or anything, I actually have a Facebook group that you can join. Just click the link down below and you can feel free to message me to ask me any questions, and I will do my best to give you my best recommendation. And you can also probably get some help from other people in the group as well. So yeah, first link down below in the description. And that brings me to phase 1, which is the planning phase. Everything starts out with keyword research, right? So we need to find keywords that have a low difficulty and a high search volume, keywords that we can use to create really valuable content. And we need to really think about how the keyword fits into the bigger picture. All right, here I have a screenshot from my Ahrefs account when I was doing some keyword research for the blog that I was showing you earlier about gaming computers. We can see here that it has a 2 keyword difficulty out of 100. This is pretty much a logarithmic scale from 0 to 100. And it basically tells you, how difficult a keyword is going to be to rank for based on a variety of different factors. But you can really use this metric to kind of understand, can I really rank for this keyword? And number 2, it has nearly 3,000 people searching it per month. And as you can see here, this keyword has an 80-cent cost per click, which means every single time someone runs an ad for this keyword and they get a click on it, they're paying nearly $1. And as you can see, it's got a lot of search volume. So if you're ranking number 1 for this keyword organically, you're getting a ton of traffic for free that you would otherwise have to pay a lot of money for. And best of all, even when you stop working on ranking this page, once it's number 1, that traffic is going to keep on coming in. Whereas with a PPC campaign, once you stop spending money on ads, the traffic stops. And that brings me to competitor research, right? So you need to really analyze your competition. You need to figure out what they're doing, what's their strategy. The next thing is, how can we beat them? What can we do to create better content that's going to outrank them in Google and provide more value to the user? Now, as far as competitor research goes, as you can see here, this is another screenshot from Ahrefs. I have pulled up surviveketo.com in the Site Explorer because one of my clients right now is running a keto diet blog, and this is one of their biggest competitors. So the first thing I did here is plug their website domain into the Ahrefs Site Explorer. Next, I went over and I went to their top pages by traffic so I can see which keywords are bringing them in the most traffic and the most clicks. And then, as you can see here, I can look at each page and look at the keywords they're ranking for, look at how many searches they're getting per month, and how hard they are to rank for. So this is a great way to get a ton of great keyword research ideas. So once you've narrowed down your keywords that you want to target, you can start organizing them into posts. So we keep a post spreadsheet with the post type, the title, the target keyword we're going after. We also write down the volume and difficulty of our main keyword. We also ensure to include the angle of the post for our writers, a target word count, a URL structure, and we also link to a Google Doc spreadsheet where the SEO manager actually outlines the headings based on SEO keywords as well as what they think the user would most like to see. And that way, when the writers go in to start writing their stuff, they don't really have to think. They can just look at the title and start writing. So it makes it a lot easier for them. And for us, we know that we're going to get the post that we want. So once we have these things written down, we create a Trello board, which is a really, really awesome content management tool, a scheduling tool. And we track the pages to create. We track when they're assigned in writing, when they're ready for edits, etc., etc. And we can assign them to writers, assign them to editors. We can set due dates. So it's a really great way for us to manage content and make sure that we are staying on task, staying on schedule, and completing things on time. Which brings us to phase 2, which is creating. This is also super important. Now that you have your plan out of the way and you know what you're going to be doing, it is time to create the best content in your niche and smoke your competition. The first pillar of creation is obviously writing your content. You really need to make sure that your writers are doing this properly. Do not be afraid to pay extra to get the job done right. In my experience, I've found that it's always better to pay extra to do it right the first time than trying to save a buck here and there. You're going to end up with a lot of headaches. For example, when I first started hiring people from my website, I tried paying people like 2 or 3 cents a word. I ended up getting really crappy content. It was BS. I didn't like it. My readers wouldn't have liked it. And I ended up spending more time editing that content than I would have writing it myself. So that's when I realized that I should just spend the extra money and get really good stuff. That brings me to the second stage, which is editing. At 200 SEO, I have a team of editors that proofread and edit all of my writers' content. And lastly, if you're really serious about content marketing, which we are at 200 SEO, you need to be creating custom graphics, okay? Graphics are everything. People prefer to take in information visually rather than linguistically. So if you have really cool custom graphics on your website, it's going to do you a lot of good. Phase 3 of this process is making sure that you are optimizing your content for Google, because if you don't optimize it properly, no one's going to see it. And my number one thing is making sure that we are optimizing for people, not for robots, okay? So optimization starts with basic on-page stuff, including optimizing your title tag, making sure your heading is good, having a proper meta description, using the right alt tags because Google cannot read your images unless you have alt text there, making sure your website loads quickly, and using plenty of related keywords to help Google understand what your page is all about. In terms of layout, you want to make sure that your paragraph length is short and sweet, you have the right amount of images, you're using bucket brigades, which are basically designed to keep people reading. You have the right heading structure that is allows people to skim your content very easily when you have a lot of headings, which is good for keeping people around longer and making it a lot easier for them to navigate your page. And lastly, you want to make sure that you are optimizing for conversion rate, because if people are reading your site, that's great, but if they're not converting, they're not really any use to you. So we always make sure that we take care of all 3 of these pillars of optimization with every single post that we put on a client's website. All right, and this brings us to the very last stage of any content marketing campaign, which is promotion. You want to get the message out there that you have awesome content so that people will start linking to it and Google will trust you more. You'll become an authority and you can rank higher and get organic traffic. So you definitely should be using a link building strategy. That's why before I even plan any content, or as I'm planning content, I should say, I also plan out the link building strategy that I'm going to use to get links for that content. Next, you definitely want to be building relationships and not links. That's kind of the motto that I use. Offer value and start a conversation with the person first, and then it's going to be a lot easier to get a link from them, as opposed to just spamming them for a link and saying, hey, I wrote a nice post and you should link to it. It's very annoying. It happens to me all the time and I really hate it. And lastly, make sure that you are targeting authoritative, relevant blogs with good traffic, because at the end of the day, a link is like a vote of confidence. So you want votes from really authoritative, relevant websites that's going to help you out a lot, instead of links from forum comments or shady websites that you paid for. And that brings me to the first don't of link building, which is buying links from a public blog network, which are websites that are created simply for selling links. Google hates these sites. You're not going to get any value out of this in the beginning, and if Google catches on, you might even get penalized. So it's just a giant loss on all fronts. Don't start posting links in forum comments or YouTube comments or whatever and trying to get authority that way. Those kinds of links don't work. They don't pass any value and they just look spammy. You are going to build links from forums and YouTube comments naturally as people link to your resources. So it's not a bad thing, but you shouldn't waste your time doing it yourself. And don't get links from random websites that aren't related to yours. Like if you're doing a scuba diving website, you shouldn't get a link from a baking website. It doesn't really make any sense. You want to get links from other outdoors adventure websites, right? And don't use a shady link building company that doesn't tell you how they get their links or doesn't tell you what they do. Like if they just say, oh, we'll get you, they just snap their fingers and the link appears, they're definitely buying the link. So you want to work with a company that will actually show you, okay, we're going to do outreach, we're going to reach out to these people, and we're going to get links that way. That's the right way to do it, and that's what you should be doing. So the ways that we build links, we use guest posts. Obviously, they're still very effective. Broken link building, expert roundups, dream link building, and this is one that I've been doing recently that's been getting tremendous results for me and my clients. Guest posting's awesome, and the first three are really great. They're pretty popular methods, but what I do is I actually will write down like my top 10 websites that I would just kill to get a link from that are super authoritative, super relevant in my niche, like the top 10. And I spend a lot of time on each website figuring out the best way that I can offer value. I figure out the right person to contact, and that's very important. I figure out what they like, and I build a relationship with them, and I work out a deal that way to get a link from a really authoritative website, because one link from an expert website is way, way more valuable than a bunch of links from crappy sites. For example, my cousin actually is starting a website about scuba diving, and he managed to get a link from Patty, which, if you don't know, is like the global certifier for scuba diving, right? So that's a humongous link right there. A lot of value, a lot of authority, a lot of trust is being passed to his site. And like a week after he got that link, it's a brand new site, and one of his pages shot up to the first page almost instantly. So you definitely want to be getting high quality links, and that's how we go about the final phase of outreach.